Today I'm going to explain a thriller film called The Boy Next Door. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. Claire Peterson has recently ended her relationship with her husband, Garrett, after learning about his affair with his secretary. Although they haven't legally separated yet, Claire has already kicked Garrett out of their house, leaving their teenage son, Kevin, deeply upset with her. Claire's best friend, Vicky Lansing, convinces her to get a divorce, but Claire isn't quite ready for that yet. That night, the Lansings get together for Kevin's birthday dinner, and Garrett invites them to a 3-day camping trip. Garrett says he'll be back from a San Francisco business trip a day before Labor Day, and upon hearing that, Claire immediately assumes that he'll be with his secretary. Despite her disappointment, Claire plays it cool in front of Kevin and tells them to just have a guys trip. With that, she excuses herself to the bathroom, where she quietly cries. The next day, Claire and Kevin's plan to go to his allergist gets stalled by their broken garage door. As Claire struggles to push it up, their new and charismatic young neighbor, Noah, shows up to help her. Noah lives with his uncle, Mr. Sanborn, who is about to get his bone marrow transplant. He offers to help with her garage problem and even invites Kevin to come with him to the hardware store. Once the boys are gone, Mr. Sanborn tells Claire that Noah's parents died the previous year, making him the only relative he has left. Claire says Noah seems nice, and when the old man agrees with her, she invites him for a cup of coffee. At the hardware store, Noah tells Kevin that he'd had an accident, so even though he's almost 20, he still needs to finish high school in Monroe High. Surprised, Kevin says that that's where he goes and his mother teaches. Noah seems shocked to learn that Claire is a teacher. When they're about to pay for what they've bought, Kevin gets embarrassed upon seeing that his crush, Allie Callahan, is the cashier. However, Noah tells him to just talk to her. Feeling shy, Kevin makes small talk with Allie, and after introducing himself to her, Noah leaves the two to speak with each other. Unfortunately, the resident school bully Jason and his friends show up and make fun of Kevin for his EpiPen. Kevin is humiliated, and this doesn't change even as he and Noah leave. After fixing Claire's garage door, Noah informs her that Kevin is being bullied by Jason. Claire quietly tells him about a supposedly embarrassing incident where Kevin got stung by a bee. This caused his throat to swell, which is why he's being teased. She then asks Noah not to tell Kevin that she's told him about it, and Noah says she can trust him. In the evening, Claire smiles as she sees Noah from her bedroom window, tucking his uncle in bed. The next day, Claire can't help but stare at Noah while he teaches Kevin to work on a car's engine. Then, Claire, Kevin, Noah, and Vicky have dinner together, and Claire promises Noah that he can eat dinner at her house every night as soon as his uncle gets admitted to the hospital. After that, the boys follow Claire and Vicky to the kitchen, where Noah tells everyone how much he's interested in the Iliad, which Claire teaches. After some time, Noah watches Kevin from his house as he finally leaves for his camping trip with Garrett. He then drops by Claire's house to give her a first edition copy of the Iliad, which she reluctantly accepts. Noah also sees the pair of stilettos that Vicky has given Claire, and he tells her that she doesn't need them since she's already sexy. That night, Claire tries on the pair of shoes before watching an undressed Noah from her bedroom. She quickly gets embarrassed when Noah sees her. Claire goes on a blind date that Vicky set up for her, but she immediately clashes with her date, who mocks her for being a classics teacher. Claire goes home and drinks. Then, she receives a call from Noah, asking for her help with his uncooked chicken. Claire heads over to his place, and there she tells Noah all about the awful date she had. As she talks, Noah muses over how beautiful and amazing she is. Struck with embarrassment, Claire tries to leave, but Noah stops her and begs her to kiss him. He kisses and touches the woman as he reminds her that she should be cherished. Though she tries her best to fight the temptation, Claire eventually gives in and sleeps with Noah. In the morning, Claire wakes up feeling nothing but guilt, and she tells Noah that they've made a mistake. Noah, on the other hand, thinks otherwise, and in his frustration, he punches the wall. Claire then treats Noah's wounded knuckles, all the while telling him that she got swept up in the moment and none of it is his fault. When Kevin and Garrett arrive that afternoon, the two excitedly tell an anxious Claire about their trip. She clumsily drops the dishes in the sink and even drops their dessert when she hears Noah showing up. Claire is so nervous around him, but Garrett and Kevin don't even notice. When Kevin finally walks Noah out, Garrett tells Claire that Noah seems nice. Later on, Claire and Garrett talk about their marriage, and Garrett gently asks Claire not to file for divorce yet. Meanwhile, Noah quietly watches them from his window. The next day, Claire gets shocked when Principal Warren lets Noah join her class. She even tries to question his decision, forgetting that it was actually her request. While driving home that afternoon, Claire angrily calls Noah and tells him to stop following her, but the guy reminds her that he just lives next door. Once home, Claire checks the transfer request in her laptop, asking Kevin if he sent it to the principal. Kevin then says he didn't, and wonders what's wrong. And when Claire replies that someone did, Noah shows up and tells her she's probably been hacked. He even offers to help Claire change her password, but she refuses and asks him to wait for Kevin outside. Kevin finds that Claire is being rude to Noah, so he reminds her that she's the one who said he's always welcome in their home. But Claire ignores him and tells him she doesn't want Noah joining them for dinner because Garrett is coming over. Without Claire's knowledge, Noah takes Kevin shooting in the woods. There, he asks the boy if his father has been visiting them lately, and Kevin confirms it. Annoyed, Noah implies that Garrett is just bribing Kevin with material things, so he'd forgive him for leaving them, and Kevin believes Noah. During dinner, Kevin snaps at Garrett for missing out on his life. He mentions that he's dropped his computer class, which Garrett has always wanted for him to take, before asserting that he's going out for boxing. Garrett knows that Kevin isn't into boxing, but Kevin snaps that he has no idea what he likes or doesn't like. Frustrated, Kevin walks out and goes to his room, leaving his parents wondering what's gotten into him. At school, Noah helps Kevin with his boxing training. He also asks Kevin about Garrett, and Kevin gets upset as he tells him he feels bad for disrespecting his father. He then continues hitting the punching bag, which eventually triggers his allergy. Scared, Noah quickly runs to Kevin's locker to retrieve his EpiPen, injecting it into the boy's leg after his initial confusion. Meanwhile, Vicky sits with Claire as she calls Garrett and thanks him for the flowers he sent her, not knowing they're actually from Noah. Once she learns the truth, Claire confronts Noah in the gym and scolds him for sending her flowers and hacking her email. Noah always has an excuse for everything, and when Claire accuses him of turning Kevin against his father, Noah tells her not to blame him for the trouble Garrett caused them. As they talk, a school staff, Mike, sees them and asks Claire if she's okay. So Claire assures him that she is. Exasperated, Claire tells Noah she just wants them to start over, and Noah promises that she can trust him. After some time, Kevin asks Allie to watch a movie with him, but the girl tells him she's busy. However, Allie suddenly changes her mind upon seeing Noah and asks Kevin to be her fall fling date instead. That evening, Garrett kisses Claire after getting home from a date, but even though Claire wants to fix their relationship, she doesn't want to rush things between them. She then lets him crash on the couch. As for Noah, the boy gets agitated by this and starts shadow boxing in his room. The following day, Garrett kisses Claire goodbye as they part ways. An enraged Noah suddenly shows up and confronts Claire, accusing her of playing him. Noah then gets in his truck when Kevin comes out of the house. Fully aware now of how dangerous Noah can be, Claire warns Kevin to stay away from him, but Kevin quickly gets mad at her. He asserts that Noah has warned him that she'd do that, so Claire's protests fall on deaf ears as Kevin leaves with him. At school, Kevin gets bullied by Jason again, but Noah immediately comes to his aid. Noah goes crazy on Jason, and it takes Vicky and a male teacher to stop the brutal beatdown. As the vice principal, Vicky informs Noah that she's just learned about his expulsion from his old school, but Noah doesn't care a bit and tells her to mind her own business. Noah even insults Vicky and calls her names, telling her she's acting like someone she'll never be. Disgusted, Vicky tries to slap Noah, but she fails when he catches her hand. Finally, as Noah turns to leave, Vicky yells at him that he's expelled. During the fall flame dance, Allie informs Claire that some students said there's water leaking from the boys' restroom. Claire checks it out, and to her horror, there's a writing on the wall saying that she slept with someone. Noah then comes out from a stall and harasses Claire, telling her she can't just get rid of him, prompting her to thrust her knee towards his groin. In pain, Noah can only listen to Claire as she claims that no one will believe him, warning him to stay away from her and Kevin. Later that night, Claire wakes to the sound of loud music from Noah's room, and when she looks out the window, she sees Noah about to hook up with Allie. Claire then closes the curtains, giving Noah the satisfaction that he's disturbed her. One day, Claire locks her students out of their classroom after finding it filled with photos of her and Noah in bed. Frightened, she quickly throws away every single picture and unplugs the photocopy machine that's continuously making copies of them. Principal Warren then shows up and tells Claire he'll open the door if she doesn't, and when she finally does, he asks her to follow him outside. There, the principal expresses his concern about her behavior lately and informs her that Mike has reported seeing her arguing with Noah. Claire tries to explain what happened, but Principal Warren simply tells her to get herself together. Meanwhile, Garrett picks up Kevin from school and lets him drive his car. As he does, Kevin gets upset with his father and recklessly drives fast, all the while telling him how he had to watch his mother suffer because of his cheating. Alarmed by their speed, Garrett instructs his son to stop the car, but Kevin nervously tells him the clutch isn't working. With no other choice, Kevin tries his best to avoid any other vehicles, and after punching the emergency brake, their car eventually hits a couple of water containers. Racked with guilt, Kevin hugs his father as he apologizes to him. When Claire gets home that afternoon and sees Garrett's car, he informs her that they just had a little fender bender. Claire then realizes that Noah is there too, and when she goes to the kitchen, Noah follows and threatens her that he'll show Kevin and Garrett not just their pictures, but the video too. Noah continues to harass Claire, and seeing that she can't do anything, he tells her to come over to his house in the middle of the night. Claire goes to Noah's house and demands he give her the video. However, Noah refuses and tells her that it's proof of their love, and that no one will ever see it if she agrees to be with him. Noah then tries to kiss Claire, but she slaps him out of anger and tells him he's crazy before leaving. The next day, Claire shows the photo to Vicky, then informs her about the video too. Claire starts to panic about losing everything, but Vicky promises her they'll do all that they can to prevent that from happening. One afternoon, Noah follows Claire's car, unaware that Vicky's the one driving it. Once he realizes that, Noah quickly drives back to his house, while Vicky calls Claire, who is breaking into Noah's home. Claire finds a small camera that Noah used to record them with, and eventually discovers his basement, which has Claire's photos all over the walls. Claire deletes all of her pictures and video on Noah's laptop too, and while doing so, she discovers proof that he's tampered with the brakes of Garrett's car. She also sees some information and pictures of a minivan's brakes, so Claire hurriedly leaves and runs into a startled Mr. Sanborn. When Claire gets home, she informs Vicky of everything she's done and discovered. As they speak, someone suddenly shows up and forcibly attempts to open Claire's door, spurring her to pick up a knife to defend herself with. However, it's just Kevin who has trouble opening the door, and Claire and Vicky are both relieved. Vicky then tells Claire they have to spend the night with her, and once they end their call, Vicky is hit in the head by Noah. Later on, Claire talks to a detective about the death of Noah's parents and learns that the driver had lost control of the minivan. But since the bodies were destroyed and there was no toxicology report, they just assumed that the driver was drunk. Unconvinced, Claire suggests that its brakes could have been tampered with, but the detective says that there was no evidence of malfeasance. Still, he asks Claire if there's something she wants to tell him, but Claire just keeps quiet. That evening, Noah calls and convinces Kevin to come over to Vicky's ranch with Garrett and help him work with Vicky's tractor. Then he tells a bound and gagged Vicky he hates what she and Claire are doing to him. Vicky receives a call from Claire, saying she's sure Noah had tampered with the brakes of his parents' car and Garrett's. Though this throws him off, Noah still acts with caution and plays a recording of Vicky's voice, asking her to come over to her place. Then he starts screaming. Claire arrives at Vicky's ranch and finds the place dark. Startled by a cat, Claire hits a closet, where Vicky's dead body falls out. Terrified, Claire rushes to her to call 911, but Noah stops and pulls her out of the vehicle. The now hysterical Claire asks him about Vicky and his parents' death, so Noah reveals that it was actually his father and his mistress who were in the car. His mother was already dead, and that she had killed herself because of her husband's infidelity. The twisted boy promises Claire that he's more than willing to kill people just to protect the person he loves. He then takes her to the barn, where he's bound Garrett and Kevin. Garrett is already hurt, and Noah beats him up some more as Claire frantically helps her son by giving him his EpiPen shot. Noah then decides to get rid of Kevin, but Claire begs him not to before hitting him in the head with a blunt object. Unfortunately, Noah doesn't stay down for too long and grabs Claire by the hair while she attempts to untie Kevin. Claire desperately asks him to stop, but Noah won't listen. Instead, he pushes her away before pouring gasoline all over the place. Now in a race against time, Kevin and Garrett try to untie themselves, while Claire pushes Noah, causing him to drop his lighter. Claire and Noah engage in a struggle with the whole place on fire, unaware that Garrett has removed the nail from the ladder he's bound to and freed himself. He then strangles Noah using the ropes on his hands and throws him off, but Noah quickly recovers and shoots Garrett near the chest. Exhausted, Noah forces Claire to come with him, promising that she can trust him. In turn, Claire tells him that he can't trust her before stabbing him in the eye with Kevin's EpiPen. Unfortunately, Noah still manages to remove the EpiPen from his eye and tries to shoot Garrett, but Claire stops him by poking his injured eye. Hurt, Noah hits Claire and attempts to kill Garrett again, but Kevin hits him in the back with a farm tool. However, Noah overpowers him, but he fails to shoot Kevin when Claire calls him. Then Claire pulls a lever and drops an engine on Noah, which instantly kills him. Finally, the paramedics take Claire, Garrett, and Kevin to the hospital, and Claire promises her husband that they'll soon go home.